Welcome to Media Masters, the program that pulls the curtains on Nigeria's media titans. My name is Adenike. Today on the program, I have with me Tunji Abioye. He's the managing director of 32Fm Ibadan and also the chief executive officer of Field Communications in Lagos. Nice to have you here.
It's a pleasure to be here, Nick.
Thank you so much. Thank you for acquiescing to be on the program. You were the first person I spoke with.
Right.
And you greenlit it immediately. You were so warm, you were so kind, and you were so positive. Thank you.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you. How have you been? How's work been?
Well, generally okay. Trying to pace up to the rhythm of the Nigerian economy and generally the climate of the country. We're good.
Okay.
Yep.
You were in advertising before getting on radio. From advertising to owning a radio station, off the top of your head, which is more demanding?
Tough to say, to be honest. But the thing between advertising and radio broadcasting is that the atmosphere is almost same.
Okay.
Because we're dealing with the creative industry. So it wasn't a very difficult migration for me to make.
Okay.
The tapestry of the two sides of the coin are almost same. The demand on talent, the insistence on creativity, innovation. And then because, I've done advertising first, which I think is a little more demanding.
Oh, okay.
Going into media and broadcast space was a lot more interesting and easy to navigate.
Okay, nice one. You now uniquely lead a radio station in a state like Oyo State.
Right.
How does it feel, being able to, basically you've seen the two sides of the coin, advertising and now radio. How does it feel?
I think that the last 8 years of, doing 32FM has been really very fascinating. Presented a unique opportunity and challenge. And I think, again, because I grew up in Ibadan. I was born in Ibadan, actually. I was very familiar with, the ecosystem, and I think that the guys who had gone before, ahead of us, to do radio, actually had laid what I would consider as a very useful foundation. All we had to do was to find our own path, in that broad ecosystem. And I think we've done decently well in 8 years.
I think so too. I totally agree with you. We all know that radio ad sales in Nigeria often rely heavily on relationships over data. But we're not saying that data is useless. But a lot of times we rely heavily on relationships. You're coming from advertising. And when you started your radio station, for a lot of people, when they start radio, we usually hear, oh my goodness, you have to wait for 6 months. You have to wait out 8 months before you start getting advertising. How did it work for you? Especially because you already had a leg in the door.
I mean, true of mine is that I think I challenged the logic around radio relying heavily on relationship other than data.
Data.
As a matter of fact, I think is the other side, is the flip. Look, anybody who's going to give you any business would expect some kind of return. There's always a insistence on the return on investment, all right? The best of friends would naturally demand that, look, what is this investment I'm putting into your radio station or in the radio, placement? What is going to give me? So from the beginning, we had known that, data is a big index when it comes to media, not only in Nigeria, but globally. All right. So we didn't shift our eyes off the ball. And, thank God that we did. Okay. If you're going to go into any meeting, any pitch, you're going to make any attempt, for, to swing, media investment in your way, suddenly data must be. You better be sure data is on your side.
Do you remember the first brand that first believed in you? 32 FM, I mean.
Well, at the beginning, I would say that one of our first major partners was Honeywell Flour Mill.
Really?
All right. There was a content that we started out with, and we still have it now, for children.
Okay.
And they saw the uniqueness of that content.
What is it called?
It's called Smart Kids.
Okay.
It was, a uniquely programmed, content for children to help their skills, their educational process, educational emergence, educational nurturing. And so they saw the value in what that program offered. And for the first time, we had a major brand saying, look, we want to do, partnership with you. And they sponsored it. And they sponsored it for a number of months. All right. And that was the first major sponsorship deal that we would have as 32 FM. And it was quite very useful at the beginning.
Oh, okay. We know that Ibadan media space is extremely competitive. And I'm not even looking at the numbers that we have today.
Right.
But at the time you started, it was hugely competitive. And when you started, your USP, if I can say that, was basically making people smile, making people laugh, which is why you came up with 32 FM. 8 years after, are you still on that? Or you've managed to tweak it a little bit to accommodate today's realities?
I mean, it's difficult for us to run away from our DNA. We had no doubt in our mind that with the Nigerian peculiar situation, all right, and even more so now, laughter was going to be a big offering.
Okay.
All right. And so from our name to our logo, to our payoff line, to the contents that we offer, to a number of the talents that we also recruit, we are clear that it was only the pathway to go. And we have remained very faithful to that essence. And I think that essence has paid us well.
So far.
So far.
So let's circle back to you starting 32 FM.
Right.
Getting your license. We know getting a license isn't bins.
Right.
So tell us, to the average person who is watching right now, who has absolutely no idea what goes into obtaining a license.
Right.
Tell us behind the scenes, what happened? What was the first move that you made? And how much did it cost you at that time?
Okay. All right. So, frankly, our idea of starting a radio business occurred to me when I was in paid employment. I was at Roosevelt Advertising at that time. And I think, if I recall very, very well, I was an ED at the company. And that idea occurred to me that, listen, beyond creating content, you also need a platform.
Okay.
And so God gave me an idea that, I thought I needed to pursue. After being MD for Roosevelt for a couple of years, I left. But before I left, what I did was that I put in an application at the NBC. All right. And I followed all through their processes, the application, the technical details, and all the things I needed to submit. And I did submit that. And then the wait began. Month after month, we saw NBC was issuing out licenses to people.
Okay.
And they never issued to us. We were, by our own standard, one of the most eminently qualified people, to get a license. But that didn't come. So, I kept it, I left it there. The radio idea still was, somewhere on my radar. And then I started out, our advertising company. And then we were running and we were doing business after business. And then, we got wind that, the government of former President Jonathan was going to issue out
some licenses
and all of that. And we were hoping and praying that ours would be one of those that will be issued. Eventually, the licenses were issued. We were not on the list, we weren't considered, and all of that. And then, so, of all the guys that were issued licenses, we got approached.
Okay.
I think one or two people knew that we were in pursuit
Okay.
of a license. And so they approached us and we started talking. And invariably they started telling us that, look, the coverage of licenses for Ibadan. We said we wanted to start in Lagos. Anyways, with wisdom on our side, we then said, listen, we'll take the license. So we bought it off them.
Okay.
And then the rest is history.
Wow. Is that what they call like dormant license or something?
No, it was
And how
actually,
legal is it?
that one was even freshly issued. You know, it's just that the person who got the license thought that, look, maybe they didn't know what to do with it, or wasn't properly prepared enough to do, operate a radio license. And then we started talking, and then...
So what happened with your own application at the end of the day?
Is it there?
Nothing yet.
Well, once we got this, we thought that, look, was just important for us to just move on and start the business. We started here. We're starting also very soon in Lagos.
Oh, that's interesting.
So we've gotten after all, we've gotten a Lagos license.
Okay, but really though, you just talked about the weight and everything. To some other person who probably doesn't get approached by someone, who has the license and they're really not needing it, what do they have to do? What do they just wait on? What happens?
Well, I mean, see, the thing is that if you are passionate about anything and strongly enough, you'll find a way around executing that thing. All right? I mean, we were spreading the word around town that, look, we are keen about doing a radio business, and really, we were looking for help. We were looking for assistance all over the place. And it was in the course of doing all of that, the person who had the license that we're using now, approached us, and we started talking.
Okay. So now, coming back to Ibadan again, we've seen people coming to the media space in Ibadan completely underrating or underestimating the average Ibadan listener, especially when they come from outside. They're always like, it's Ibadan, it's Ibadan. And when they get in, 6 months after, they probably have to re-strategize and do a whole lot of things, because like, okay, I didn't see it, I never saw it like this. You've been in Ibadan for 8 years. Can you confidently say that you know what the average Ibadan listener wants?
Listen, Adenike, my marketing and advertising schooling has taught me many things. One of which is that you can never, all right, underestimate the value of the consumer. You dare not. You do that, you do it at your own peril. All right? Every market, and indeed Ibadan, is a unique market. All right? Peculiar in his ways, very insistent on doing things his own way. The listeners, the consumers of radio content in Ibadan are peculiarly wired differently. And if you did not do your own work to understand what the radio listeners in Ibadan are looking for, and you come from wherever you're coming from, Lagos, Abuja, or anywhere else in the country, and set up a radio brand in the market without first paying attention to the peculiarity of the listening palates of the Ibadan audience, you would do that to your own demise. And I think that the number of brands, big brands, that have done well in Lagos came into Ibadan, and they underestimated the peculiarity, all right, of the Ibadan space, and they have paid dearly for it. All right. One of the things that we did when we were coming to Ibadan, I mean, beyond the fact that I was born here, I grew up here, I still needed to come back to Ibadan to commission a study, all right, on the market before setting out. I didn't take the market for granted. I couldn't have. All right. So, and what I'm saying it's not peculiar to radio business. You want to do any business at all. All right. It's important that you understand the market, because the market defines what you are bringing, defines the peculiarity of your strategy that will work well for you in the space.
Wow. Still talking about what the listener wants. I mean, I just picked up something from what you said, and allow me to be a little bit pedestrian. When you take public transportation, because I worked in Ibadan for about 5 years.
Right.
And when you take public transportation, you can tell the kind of stations that they listen to. I remember years ago, and I'm talking maybe like around 2011, 2012. I can't remember the exact time, but it was probably around that period that we had a radio station set up in Ibadan. And the sound was urban, 100%, urban, with a different type of sound. Everything was totally different. And they never made it. At some point, they had to close shop. I don't want to mention the name of the station. They had to close shop. Looking back, I keep asking myself, because I know the person who owns the station, and I know they thrived elsewhere. So is it like people in Ibadan, which is why I said, allow me to be pedestrian a little bit.
Right.
Is it like people in Ibadan don't like music? Is it like they don't listen to urban music? They do. Is it like they don't listen to urban talk? I think they do. So what happened? From a professional standpoint, you're a media owner. What happened?
Right. So to succeed with any brand in the marketplace, there is usually what I refer to as the alchemy.
Okay, what's that?
Of factors. It's a mixed match of factors.
Okay.
But I think where to start from is to understand what the market wants, what the market needs. All right? Now, having understood what the market wants, you now define how do you serve what the market is asking for.
Okay.
Do you understand what I'm saying? The definition of the market is so crucial to whatever it is that you're going to serve as offering. When you are able to have affinity between what the market wants and what you are to offer or what you want to offer the market, the timing of the offering is also very important.
Okay.
There are times when brands come ahead of their time. There are times when brands come at the right nexus of time.
Okay.
Let me give you an example. In this market, in this Ibadan market, there used to be a brand called it was a fast food brand.
Okay.
Here in Dubai. All right. I can't remember the name of the brand now. I will remember maybe in the course of this dialogue. But it was an interesting brand.
Okay.
Very close to the old Kingsway. All right. Okay. That was for me where fast food really, the idea of fast food, business started from. It was well ahead of the Mr. Biggs of this world.
I'm trying to remember that.
All right.
Name.
So, but that brand didn't survive. Okay. Many years after, the likes of Mr. Biggs started, and they did so well. And then afterwards, other brands came and all of that, and back to Ibadan. Mr. Biggs also did well, and some other brands who are fast food brands also did well over a period of time. So, next sort of time. So, I'm saying that there's usually several factors that are to determine whether a brand will succeed or fail. There's also the factor of talents, because every brand will ultimately, no matter what space you are playing in, all right, would be evangelized by the talents. Okay? If you have a good, talent mix that resonates with the essence of the brand and what the market is demanding for, then you are in good place.
Okay.
Of course, talent will also, be championed by leadership. What's the quality of leadership that the brand, is benefiting from? So there are several things that would, come together that will naturally
Not
now
just one
culminate.
reason.
It's several factors.
Several factors.
That will not culminate in, oh, this brand is successful, this one is a failure, and all of that. Okay. But I think that we were privileged and also helped by God to have a number of these elements brewed together to our advantage.
Well, you just talked about talent. So thank you so much for that. Do you have a fixed hiring culture at 32 FM? What is a perfect 32 FM hire?
Okay, so we try to hire in tandem with our essence.
How do you mean?
All right. We are a laughter engendering brand.
Okay.
All right. So you must really have humor in you. You understand what I'm saying? You can't serve, you can't give what you do not have. So one of the things that we try to look out for is the capacity to be able to be playful, humorous, jovial. So we look out for those kind of things, all right, in the talent, because that resonates strongly with the brand essence, okay? And of course, we look at other things, integrity, character, the capacity to be true to the needs of our customers or our listeners, and all of that.
Okay, so what's the interview process like? Do you ask them to crack jokes or something? What do you do?
We often do many things,
okay,
to uncover precisely, the things that we're looking out for. We look at social media presence, what they have done before. We look at, our interview process is also very eclectic, not regular, because of the industry that we play in.
I know how it obtains in the Ibadan media space.
That's right.
A lot of stations like to poach. Are you a fan of poaching? Did you try it at any time, especially when you were just starting?
Okay, so when we started out, we had, and we did this very consciously, it was deliberate. We had a mixed bag of experienced talent and some not too experienced. In fact, our current GM, who has been with us from the beginning, never did radio. All right? So that's to tell you that we're very experimental.
Back to something I asked, are you a fan of poaching? Where there's this very big name with this particular station and you're like, you know what, I want this person and I bring them over.
We do poaching when we have to.
Oh, okay.
But it's not a big strategy in our mix.
What pushes you to, if you have to do it?
Well, what pushes us is to, usually, if we have a gap and we find a good fit, all right, sometimes we go out and see whether, such talents would want to join our team. And if there is alignment, we tend to shake hands. But we do that rarely.
Oh, okay.
Which is why what you find at the station is, talents that we have largely groomed.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Your growth, 32 FM, your growth has been quite beautiful to watch.
Thanks.
It's been steady.
Thanks.
Beautiful, and it's just been quite incredible. But I remember the time you started, you said something along the lines of you were going to be number one in a year or something along those lines.
Yeah.
Looking back at that, would you say you were naive, or would you circle back to what I said when I said you probably underestimated the average listener? What was it all about?
So what we said was that we were going to be top 3 in I think we said 2 or 3 years at the beginning. No, we were not naive. We were bold. We were audacious. When we did our retreat, the first retreat that we did, before we commenced business, we set very bold and audacious ambitions.
Wow.
And looking back, I think those things have served us well, incredibly well, because we're on fire. And when the aircraft is about to take off, from ground, the momentum has to be really strong and compelling. When it gets mid-here, it stabilizes. All right? And so we understood that the journey was going to require that we do that from the beginning. And that's what we did. And we're thankful that we did that.
Oh, okay, thank you. Oyo State is home to almost 60 stations today. As much as it's healthy competition, it depends on who you're asking. But do you, as a businessman, do you somewhat fault the NBC, who keeps issuing out these licenses like they are party packs, like they're souvenirs?
Okay, so I look at the two sides of the coin.
Okay.
All right? And I say to myself that, look, as a businessman, I would have preferred maybe a fewer number of stations.
Okay.
All right? Because we're all drawing from, if you will, the same
Just
well.
one well.
All right? The same pool and all of that. You know what I mean? So I would have preferred that we had, fewer number of stations, whether in Ibadan or Lagos or anywhere else, But, the rule of capitalism suggests also that, there should be competition. Because what competition does is that it brings out the best in everybody. And it's almost a game of the survival of the fittest. All right? So, particularly when you look at the fact that we're in the creative enterprise space. All right? Everybody's challenged. Okay? Some people will fall,
by the wayside.
fall out by the wayside, unfortunately. But I think that ultimately it's good for the industry. And I think that we have no regrets, to be honest.
Okay.
We just want to be the best that we can be, the best version of ourselves at any point in time.
Okay, so looking at how saturated the airwaves, seems to be right now in Ibadan, do you see these other stations, over 50 stations, as your competitors, or you're not bothered, you just focus on your journey?
All right, so it's a bit of both.
Okay.
All right, a bit of both, and I'm being very honest. Okay, we know our own brand.
Oh, okay.
And I mean, from the beginning, God has given us the wisdom to define that brand. And we think that with that definition and what, we have, our talent, our architecture, the partnerships that we have, and all of that, we think that we'll continue to run a good race. But at the same time, we also, you're in a race. And it's because you're in a race, you must be mindful of the guys who are behind. So as we're running our race, defining our path and continue to, trudge forward, we're also mindful of, the noise from the marketplace.
From the marketplace.
Yeah.
How would you describe the Ibadan media space? And I'm asking this, I'm going to give you a few options.
Okay.
And I'm asking this because I would listen to a couple of stations in Ibadan. And I would listen to their sweepers. And it was so... I don't want to give you a word yet because I don't want to speak for you. But it just felt like the competition was really, really hard. There was one I listened to and it felt like incantations. It was a lot. And I was like, what is going on? So I'm going to ask you, how would you, in one word, how would you describe the Ibadan media? So I'm going to give you options.
Right.
Friendly, harmonious, caustic, toxic, healthy, competitive.
I would say healthy. Yes.
Okay.
From where I stand, it's healthy.
Okay.
All right? I was in a meeting, I think, yesterday. And we were doing some bit of, we always do analysis. We always do dimensionings, and all of that. And we were doing that in that session. And one of the things that came out was that we saw stations, to survive the kind of things that they subject their process to absolutely unbelievable. All right? The kind of things that stations are doing just to be sure that their heads are above waters. Unbelievable things. Okay. So it's a very difficult, tough
Terrain.
terrain to play in. But a lot of it's also because, you're finding, and I'm trying to be very careful with my words
With your choice
now.
of words.
You're finding, sometimes that you have square pegs in round holes. You understand what I'm saying? So, and once you have that, you find mismatches. One of the things I say to people, and I say it all the time, is that radio is not necessarily the most, financially rewarding enterprise. Particularly if you don't do it well, if you don't do it professionally, if you don't do it in a manner that it could reward. All right? So what you find is that increasingly, as it is with many other markets in Ibadan, you find a lot of square pegs in round holes. All right? And where that happens, you know the result.
Okay, but how about your relationship with other media owners?
No, we have, generally, as a brand, we are very, very friendly.
Do you talk to one another? You call, you have their numbers?
Yeah, we do.
Call them?
We do sometimes. Not with, I can't say that I have numbers of all the radio owners in Ibadan, but I have quite a few. All right. And I think that sometimes we talk, we try to,
Oh, you do sometimes?
Yeah, sometimes we do.
Okay. When you came into Ibadan, did you pay like a courtesy visit to anyone? You don't do that with radio?
We're unknown quantity. So even if we wanted to come and pay visits, I'm not sure anybody will have opened their doors to us. You know what I mean? Right. We met big radio brand names in the market. Okay. And, we were, if you call it, challenger brand, as it were, in the marketplace.
Okay, I get it.
All right? And naturally, big brands don't open their doors to challenger brands. They just put them where they belong. You know what I mean? Until they're able to now find their own voice in the marketplace. Today, if we say we want to see anybody in the marketplace, I'm sure that they'll be too open to want to listen to us.
I get you. Yeah. Thank you. Radio belongs to the group of what we call old media or traditional media.
Yes, traditional. Yes.
But if we're going to be very factual right now, we're in an age where radio listenership seems to be nosediving. And data backs that up. And that's actually because what radio gives it to the listener, the average listener can get it on their phone. Be it music, be it news, programs, whatever it is. They can get it easily on their phones. Are we watching radio go extinct right before our very eyes? 1. 2, do you think radio really needs to re-evolve or re-strategize? Or radio will always be there, like NEPA polls?
I do agree that, yes, radio is generally referred to as belonging to the band of traditional media. Again, because of its age, because of his evolution, again, because of the pattern of consumption. All right? I agree. But I think that radio is peculiarly lucky compared to TV in the sense that the mobility of radio, all right, has given it the opportunity to have a longer shelf life than the other components of the traditional media.
Okay.
For example, if you look at data, you see that readership for newspapers have gone really down.
You're right.
All right? A number of the newspaper brands that have not been able to evolve to digital have really had a major struggle. If you look at networks, TV networks, and even outside Nigeria, beyond Nigeria, you find that viewership has also gone down. But for the most part, radio, traffic has almost remained consistent, and I'll tell you why. It really has found itself lucky to have benefited from the merger of technologies. Now, when I want to listen to radio and I'm not in my car, I use Radio Garden.
You're right.
There's no radio station in the world
That is not there. You're right.
I mean, notable radio stations that you cannot pick using Radio Garden. You understand what I'm saying? So I think the interface of technologies have helped to ensure the stability and the sustenance of radio listenership across climes. So I think that the thing I see with radio is that radio will continue to benefit from the pervasiveness of technology. Today in Lagos, and I'm sure you should know this, there's a station that has been just, I think, about 2-3 months old in Lagos that is called AI-powered radio station. All right? Totally all technology, little human interface and what have you. That was a radio station, all right? So I think that the smart radio practitioners will still find relevance even in the so-called digital age.
Okay, and thank you so much for talking about artificial intelligence, because I was going to ask you about that.
Yeah.
Artificial intelligence is gradually reshaping ad creation. You have an advertising agency. Is Phil experimenting with tools like a ChatGPT, DeepSeek? And why am I saying this? Because I'm actually looking at scripts for ads, for jingles and all that. So are you actually toying with the tools like that? Of course.
I mean, you'll be short-sighted not to. All right? Even here at 32FM, we're already looking at, AI enablement for a number of things. And for fear of not saying too much because of our competitors, I can tell you that we're looking at several ways where our operations, our content, our offering are, peculiarly enabled, by the opportunity that we have with tech.
Oh, that's interesting. So what's next on the horizon for 32FM and Tunji?
Without saying it, it's expansion.
Okay.
It's expansion.
Okay. Are you working on the Lagos station?
We are.
Heavily?
In a few weeks, I'm sure we should.
Same name, 32FM?
Same name.
Same direction? Same direction.
But we'll change a few things, again, because of the peculiarity of the market. We are a global respecter of the market. The market dictates what we're going to do. All right? It's not what we think the market wants. It's what we know the market wants.
Okay, but would you say radio is a profitable venture, owning a radio station?
Well, it's not as profitable as people think, all right? Because it costs quite some money to run a decent, well-run radio station. But if you do it well, yes, you'll not be a big Dangote, but at least you'll be fine.
You'll definitely be fine.
Yeah, you'll be fine.
Before I let you go, though, when you're no longer in the picture, I mean, you, Tunji Abioye, what is the one sentence you want monogrammed into 32FM's and Feel's DNA?
All right, that one. I mean, it will be two different words for the two brands because they are not the same. Okay. All right, for 32FM, it will be. We can't be laughter deficient. Okay. All right. The DNA of the brand is that you cannot be laughter deficient. Okay. All right. For Fuel, it's suddenly, you must remain a growth activist.
You must remain
a growth activist.
Growth activist. Wow. It's been great talking to you, Tunji Abioye.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Everyone calls you TJ, by the way. Okay, you chose that.
Yeah, I chose, and then they cemented it.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you so much. It's been great talking to you.
Thank you.
And I can't wait to talk to you again when 32FM in Lagos, Brett. Thank you very much.
We look forward to it. Thank you.
All right. It has been Media Masters. And I want to say a big thank you to you for watching. Till I come your way some other time, my name is Adenike Lanley. A special thank you to my guest today, Tunji Abioye. He's the Managing Director of 32FM in Ibadan. He's also the Chief Executive Officer of Field Communication in Lagos. Thank you for watching.